Hi everybody, this is Bill with Raybuck Auto Body Parts, and today we're going to take a look at an e-bike that I just picked up a few weeks ago and had delivered not too long ago. We've had it in the shop for a few days and we're driving around having some fun. You'll see some video of that a little bit later on. But we ordered a 2022 Surron X Light B, sort of an electric dirt bike. Ever since I got my Super 73 a few months ago, I've been having a lot of fun on that, riding into the shop on the bike trail in the mornings. And I've seen this bike pop up on the internet quite a bit, and it piqued my curiosity. Some of the guys in the shop have been doing some dirt riding on the weekends, and I thought to myself it might be interesting to pick one of these up and try and participate with them a little. So this is it. It's a Surron Light B. It is a 60 volt, I think it has a 5,000 watt mid-drive motor on it. It's sort of an odd setup. When I do the walk around, I'll show you. The mid-drive has sort of a primary belt drive on the left side of the bike, and on the right side of the bike it actually has a sprocket and a chain. This bike is super powerful, a lot of fun. There are a ton of videos. I didn't do an unboxing video for this because there are a ton of unboxing videos for the Surron. I didn't want to bore you with that. I'm sure you can go on YouTube and find 1,000 of those very easily. What I can say, in a lot of those videos, a lot of guys get these things and then immediately start upgrading everything on this bike. And the one thing, I didn't know what to expect, and the one thing I can say that I'm honestly surprised about is right out of the box, this is completely stock. And the only thing I did add was a bracket that prevents the pegs from bending in. It's a sort of an aftermarket part. Kind of curious why they wouldn't include that in the initial design of the bike, since it does look like those would very easily fold in if you're riding on a trail or something like that. But I did upgrade that one part just in case I didn't want to break the pegs off. But what I can say is right out of the box, this bike is a lot of fun. They do sort of compare this, a lot of people compare this to a 125 dirt bike. That might be pushing it a little bit, but it's close, and it is a lot of fun. Has a lot of torque, a lot of pickup. Right out of the box, I have the normal 60 volt battery in this thing, didn't upgrade any electronics, anything like that, and this thing's a lot of fun. We've had it down the shop for a few days. And shot some video of the guys riding. We'll have that. We'll show you some of that footage a little bit later on in the video. But this thing, top speed on a full battery, depending on the weight of the driver. I've been putting on a few pounds during COVID in the winter, so I've only gotten this thing up to about 47. I think I had it really close to like 48 or 49 once or twice when the battery's at 100%. What I can say is I'm super surprised at the battery life on this thing. We've had this in the shop the past couple days, and we've been taking for rides at lunch, and we've been taking turns, 5 of the guys jumping on and off. Like I said, you'll see that in the video coming up here shortly. And it is, we've ridden this during lunch for on and off for about 40 minutes, and when I came back and looked at the battery, now these weren't dirt riding, it was just on the street. It was top speed, people were going pretty fast on this thing. And after about 30-40 minutes of riding, I looked at the battery and it was only 25% done. We still had 75% of the battery life left in this thing. So the range on this, depending on the use, I think they have on their website something like in the eco mode, it's like 40 or 44 miles an hour, or 44 miles. In the sport mode, on the trail, on some of the videos I've been seeing, I haven't had this actually out on a trail yet, but I've been seeing people saying if they're really getting on it, that it's probably about 16 miles. And if you're not riding it as hard, you can get maybe like 20 miles an hour. Can't wait to do that test. I'm really excited to get this out in the woods and ride it around on some trails. It has 19-inch tires. So far, just the very minimal terrain that we've been driving it on. These things, the tires are fantastic. We have driven around in the brush on the trails and things like that, and the tires seem to be fine. A lot of torque. This thing does have a lot more torque than, say, a Super 73. But again, they're totally different. They're designed for totally different things. The Super 73 is designed more as like a commuter bike to be used on bike trails and things like that. And I have to say, that is fun as heck as well. Taking that into work in the mornings on the bike trail is just has been awesome. You'll see a lot of guys, again, in videos on YouTube, immediately start upgrading things on this. Honestly, I do not see any need to upgrade anything on this if you just want a fun bike that's super light and is easily transported and doesn't have any of the maintenance of a true dirt bike that you can take out on some trails, light trails, and just have a lot of fun with. The one thing I am going to do with this, and this is just purely because I want to and not because of the need, I am going to upgrade the handlebars and the connection on the handlebars on this. So right now this sort of has a mountain bike front end on it, and again, there's nothing wrong with this. The bars are a little bit low. When you're riding it, you do have to hunch over just a little bit. So if you're trying to do some stand-up riding and stuff like that, when you're standing on the pegs, there is a little bit of a hunch that you have to do to actually reach down to the handlebars. I have a set of old handlebars, and again, this is just purely out of me wanting to do this and not a need. I have an old set of dirt bike handlebars that I want to throw on this, sort of mix the old with the new here. And it does these other handlebars, I'll show them to you here in a minute. They have about a 5-inch rise on them. So once they're connected, they should change that riding position a little bit and make it a little bit better to stand up on the pegs if you're, sort of riding trails in the woods. So give me a second here. I'm going to grab the camera and I'll show you that set of handlebars right now. So as you can see from the close-up here, this is your typical handlebar and stem bracket that goes right on the main bearing of the fork. And it is, I'm going to try and get an angle here. You can see it's maybe about 4 inches off the top. But again, when you're on those pegs and you're actually standing up trying to ride up off the seat, you do have to reach over just a little bit for those bars. So if you're in the woods, it might be a little uncomfortable. It might give you a little bit of a sore back there if you're doing a lot of riding and going over some tree stumps and things like that. So what I have over here is an old, if I can get this in frame, I have an old set of, this is probably from a 1970s dirt bike. Again, this is about a 5-inch rise here, 4-inch or 5-inch rise here. I did cut these bars down just a little bit. They were super wide, so I cut about a 1/2 inch off of each end here. I also got a set of course, you have to have the old school grips. And I also bought a direct mount. And what this is going to do is transfer the handlebars from the stem here down to these bolts here directly on the triple tree. And you can see this bracket is going to fit in right about there and connect directly to these bolts. And I also bought a spacer kit. Once you remove this bracket, you have to actually put the spacer in here to take up the difference in the area of these two spots on the stem where it attaches. So bought the direct mounts. Just got this stuff on Amazon. I also, if you can see, this bar has 2 different sizes. So originally it looks like this was connected. This is 7/8 bar or 22 millimeter. And there's actually a section here that's raised up, and that's actually about a 25 or 26 millimeter. So it's about a 3 millimeter difference between this section here to this section here. So what I ended up doing is buying 2 sets now. Neither one of these are going to fit into this direct mount because this is a 31.8 millimeter. So what I'm going to need to do is shim either this section here or shim this section over here in order for it to fit inside the direct mount bracket. I'm not exactly sure, however, where these are going to fall on the bars once the direct mounts are installed on the triple tree. So just to be safe, and because they were super cheap, I actually bought 2 different sets of handlebar shims. So this set over here will convert the center section here up to a 31.8 millimeter, and if that bracket doesn't fall on that section there, I do have this. I'm probably going to have to cut this shim in half though. This shim will actually convert the 7/8 bar back up to 31.8 millimeter. I am going to have to cut these down the center so that they straddle that section. Once I get into it, I'm not exactly sure which set I'm going to have to use, but I'll do a quick video of that and show you. I also picked up an on-off switch for the headlight. So this is a plug and play. It has the wire harnesses already attached. You can see it's just simple on-off switch. The way the bike is designed is when it's running, the rear tail light that is on the bike and the front headlight just stay constant. They're just on all the time. So I would like the option to turn that on and off. And I also bought this rear fender to replace the existing fender, and I'll show you this in a second here. Let's take this over to the bike. As you can see, there's this tiny tail fender here. A lot of people say that this needs to be extended out. I'm going to just take a chance when I start riding it and just, you know, possibly take a chance getting a little more dirty than the average bear while I'm riding out there. But as you can see, they do have a light located underneath the seat back here. Again, this is on all the time when the bike isn't running. So what I did is I actually bought this small fender section here that has that light incorporated into it. And this is going to fit, once that fender's removed, it's going to fit underneath this part of the bike here. And I'm going to try and reroute that light, just so that we don't have this light hanging underneath here in a position that can probably get broken while we're riding. Just sort of clean this up a little bit. I also did buy a mud guard for the rear shock. That's a guard that fits between the top of the seat here and the bottom. And what that will do is protect this from getting too dirty. I'm sure it's going to get dirty anyways. The front forks, I hear a lot of people on the internet saying that the front forks aren't the best on the ones that they've received. They've been selling this bike for quite a few years now, and some of the videos I've been watching, the front forks do seem smaller. However, the front forks on the bike I got are pretty beefy front forks. I'm really happy with the size of them, and again, just riding them, they seem perfectly fine, at least for what I'm going to be using for. Again, not a pro dirt bike rider or anything like that, so I'm just going to be out in the woods sort of having fun with the guys. So the front forks I'm totally happy with. Not going to change anything with that. Again, the handlebars are just something that I probably wouldn't need to do that, or you probably wouldn't need to do that, but it's just something I'm choosing to do. So that's the bike. Here's some footage of the guys actually riding this around at the shop, and I'll tell you what, we've had a blast with this over the past couple days. Walt stretching to take a ride on the bike. It's getting a little older, so you know he likes to stretch out before long rides. Let's try this out.
Snipped.
Hope it was supposed to be the green wire. Thanks for tuning in today, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed watching the guys ride this around at the shop over the past few days. Really looking forward to getting this out on the trails. Definitely get some video of that and get it uploaded here. In the meantime, if you enjoyed the video today, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.